Hey guys, it's Nathaniel here at Roots BJJ. We're gonna do an Ask Me Anything. So I got a question here. If you had to teach a brand new white belt a single principle about staying safe and having longevity in the sport, what would it be? I would try to get the white belt to understand humility. Humility plays a huge factor in being able to grasp the concept you're learning, to be able to know when you're caught, and to be able to know when you've got your opponent. I think it would really, at least for me, that's what I tried to work on, and it worked tremendously for me. I have noticed a big progression since my first day to currently, and it's because I know when to tap. I know when someone's got me beat, and I know when not to put it on somebody, and I think humility would be the number one principle I'd try to work to a white belt as much as I possibly could. This one is, in your opinion, what is the single most underrated or misunderstood aspect of jiu-jitsu as a self-defense system? I was guilty of this, and a lot of people that I know also had the same mindset where if I'm in a fight, I want to beat this guy up, or I want to make him hurt, or I want to make him regret, I want him to rue this day forever trying to mess with me. That's not what jiu-jitsu is. Jiu-jitsu is being able to defend yourself, having control over the person that's trying to harm you, and as far as the self-defense system goes. So I think people misconstrue beating somebody up to self-defense. I think there's a big difference, or a big misconception between those two. If you're coaching a beginner for the first time competition, what is one non-technical piece of advice you would give them about their mindset on the day of the event? I like this one. I would tell them, just take the pressure off yourself. You trained hard, you know what you're capable of, and how far you can take yourself. As long as you do that on the mat in each match you have, even if it's one match, if you do that during your round, there's no pressure. Win or lose, you gave it your all, and there's nothing to be ashamed about that. So absolute one piece of advice would be, don't pressure yourself. Just go in there, have fun, know you did your best. What is one principle or concept you had to unlearn from white belt to progress to your current rank? Okay, well, I'm only a blue belt, so it's not very far. But I would say doing technique in live rounds with fluidity, not step by step. As a white belt, you want to learn step by step, make sure you're doing it correctly. But in a live round, you want to be able to flow. And if you're going step by step, the other guy is going to see your step by step and stop you dead in your tracks. So I think I had to unlearn how to go step by step. And 1 foot here, then I get my grip. It's all motion, 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 transition, transition. And that is what I had to unlearn to be able to get fluid and progress. Okay, so I got another one here. It's, how do you manage the mental pressure or anxiety that comes with sparring, and what is your internal dialogue like during a tough roll? I think for me, what really helps me as far as controlling my breathing, controlling my mental state while I'm in a roll, is sticking to the basics, knowing that this guy's good, and just breathing. One of the things I always tell myself is breathe, relax, because I'll catch myself grabbing a grip a little too hard or not letting go when they start giving me some feedback, and that that might open up vulnerabilities on my end. So I'll always tell myself, breathe, relax, especially if I'm rolling a black belt like Professor Joey. I always try to roll somebody that's way more knowledgeable than me and is going to beat me every single time. But then on the inside, I start getting the, oh no, he rolls me over, oh no, I'm trapped again. But how I control my mental state is I breathe and I stick to the fundamentals and I stick to what works. So this one is, what was the most surprising thing you learned about BJJ or yourself in the first week? I was extremely surprised with how strong people are. Not like how much I curl or how much I bench press, but how strong somebody is at holding another person down. It's just a total different strength, especially if you're not training for it. You won't know it until you're under it or until you're in it. And that is something that I was super surprised about in BJJ, is that everybody's a freak of nature. Something I learned about myself within that first week was that I seemed to do pretty good under pressure. That was something I discovered in myself, was that I had all these high level guys just smashing me for a week straight, and I was so excited to come back and do it again. And I learned more in live rounds than I could have while I was drilling, just because it clicked better for me while I was under pressure, and I was forced to either do what I learned or just succumb to their technique. And that is something I definitely learned within the course. So I got another one here. It's what is the number one most reliable escape you rely on when you get caught in your opponent's strongest pin? Strongest pin is kind of general, so we'll go from side control. I don't know what it's called. I don't even know if it's got a name. I'll shove their head into my armpit, and I'll get an overhook on the head. I guess like a crossface, but from side control, from bottom of side control. I'll hold them there, and then I'll reach underneath and grab their opposite side leg, and I'll try to pull it to the back of their head, and simultaneously bridge and like flip them while staying connected, and then I'll just end up in side control on top of them. That has been my most reliable escape from side control. If it's got a name, please tell me. My teammate calls it the hammer escape or the hammer sweep. I got one here. It says, in a scramble, what is your primary objective? To gain position or prevent your opponent from gaining position? I look to prevent my opponent from gaining position. I have a tendency to get overzealous, and in the scramble, I will look for the dominant position and show vulnerabilities, and then I always lose that. So what I've been doing is we scramble, and I look for defensive positions where they don't get dominant on top of me. And then we either end up in a 50-50 or we keep scrambling until one of us finally wins, but I find success in preventing my opponent from getting dominant position. It says, when you're passing a tough guard, what is the single most important control point you must win first? I don't know if this is correct or not, but I find a lot of success in it. I control the feet. I don't know if I should be doing that or if I should look for posture or look for grips, controlling wrist or what it is. But I always control their feet first, just because wherever I move their foot, they're going to point that direction, unless they're good at, getting guard retention. But even still, if I'm holding both your feet and I'm moving you side to side, I'm dragging you which way or the other, or I pick your feet over your head, that's where I find a lot of my success when I'm trying to pass someone's guard and they're extremely good. How has a psychological concept of the gentle art manifested in your life outside of the gym? I can't say that it has. Maybe I just haven't been doing jiu-jitsu long enough. But I would definitely say I'm the least jiu-jitsu practitioner ever to ever do jiu-jitsu. I mean, I got lucky. I was gifted these rash guards. I show up to practice I have one gi. All of my no gi shorts have pockets. So people always get caught in my pockets. It's a self-defense. No. Yeah, I can't say it has manifested outside of my gym life, but maybe time will tell. I'm very new still, so maybe time will tell. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. It's Nathaniel here, Roots BJJ. Yeah, have a good one.